And good afternoon, scholars of room 502. Time for a little benchmark language arts. We're moving right along. We're finished with the first week. And we're into the second week, and we're still kind of reviewing though. And think about third person and first person point of view. Remember, our essential question is, what do we learn when we look at the world through the eyes of others? And we read two selections that allowed us to kind of see the world through the eyes of others. And they was Here Boy and Waiting for Stormy. So where we left off yesterday, it said, identify the point of view. And of course we know by now that Here Boy was first person and Waiting for Stormy was third person. And, Mr. Liggett's got to get these on. And it says, what do you think the author's purpose was in choosing the point of view? And I think in this one is to show how Opal responds to the dog. We get her feelings right away. It's more direct. There was some inference, but it was pretty direct. And then in this one is so we can know the thoughts of Maureen and Paul, how they were so concerned about Misty and Stormy. So we can go inside their mind. Well, let's take a look at the next question. How does this point of view affect your response to each story? How does each point of view respect your response to each story? Well, I think from the first person point of view, my response is, I want Opal to save the dog. Because I'm getting how she feels about it. You know, she was a big, ugly dog, but she thinks he's so friendly and funny. And it makes me want to think, you know what, I hope Opal saves this dog. And then Waiting for Stormy, how does this point of view affect your response to each story? Well, in this story, when I think about those terrible thoughts they were having, that Paul and Maureen were having, it made me think, my response was, I feel sorry for Maureen and Paul, because they're so worried. Then I'm kind of relieved though when I read about Misty, and Misty's doing fine. But I felt bad for them because they couldn't concentrate on school. They were just so concerned about their horses, or their horse, and the expecting horse, foal, pony. So if you have your text for close reading, you can go ahead and copy those down. I'm going to try to get some text for close readings out there. I'll see what I could do. Get them to your homes. All right, so let's just take a look at our reflection. What do we learn when we look at the world through the eyes of others? Based on this week's text, write down new ideas and questions you have about the essential question. And what do we learn when we look at the world through the eyes of others? Well, what I think when I look at the world through the eyes of others is, and you can write whatever you want here, I have a better understanding of how they feel. So, for example, I like to think one time my oldest daughter, Penelope, we're going to get to go on the Jaguar roller coaster at Knott's Berry Farm, and she wanted to go on that roller coaster very badly. She loves roller coasters. And she couldn't go on the one time we went to Knott's, and then we went back, and she thought for sure she had grown enough, but she wore some kind of little heels just in case. And so she got there, and they took her out of the car to measure her, and she was like a ½ inch too short. And so, you know, I felt bad for her because looking at through her eyes, I would say, boy, I waited all year to get on this roller coaster and it didn't happen. And I was looking so forward to it. So that's how I was looking through Penelope's eyes, and I felt bad for her. And I didn't go on the roller coaster because I didn't want to do that to her. So that's how, you know, when we look at the world through other people's eyes, we can understand how they feel and better understand them and maybe help them out in some way too. So that's some of the things that I've learned from this lesson. And be sure to head on over to social studies because you're going to want to do the Gold Rush one-pager. Lots of fun.